What is up, AR students, parents? Welcome to Relationship Goals Week 1. As I promised, this video is going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about this week, what the bottom line is, and to prepare you a little bit for the conversations that you might have with your students after AR students in the morning. So it's this upcoming Sunday, 10 a.m. at the high school. Rain or shine, we've got plans for if there's weather in the area. I know the day I'm recording this, there still is a small chance of rain. We're hoping that moves on through overnight on Saturday night, and we can have an awesome time Sunday morning. But if all else fails, we will still have AR students. It'll still be in person. It'll still be 10 a.m. at the high school, just like last week. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we have for this week in relationship goals. The first week is all about this concept that goals are better than rules. Goals are better than rules. We're going to talk a lot about what God really intends for us in our relationships, what a great, loving, self-sacrificing, long-term successful relationship looks like, and try and get your students to think a little bit more long-term. Because I don't know about you, but when I was a middle schooler or high schooler, what I was doing on Friday night was an enigma, right? I'm hoping that our students and our leaders and me, we can all get on the same page about what it looks like to have a long-term successful relationship, one that honors God, one that follows Christ, and one that truly puts the other person first. Those are the three big things that we're going to talk about: honoring God, following Christ, putting the other person first. And the other big thing we're going to talk about is that rules don't really work. And I talked about this a little bit last week in our longer video. I promise this one's not as long. You can see it on the timer. It's not nearly as long. But I talked a little bit last week about how important it is that we shift our students away from rules and towards goals. Away from rules and towards goals. Because here's the thing. Rules, one of three things happens with rules, right? One, they get outright broken, out of rebellion, out of I'm not following no rules. I kind of resonate with that one. Some of our rule followers, they end up getting really close to the line, like just right at the rule. And that's not what the rule is really intended for anyways, right? Or third, someone really tries to follow the rules, but then one decision, one bad moment, one moment of weakness, and you've broken the rule, and then all of a sudden there's all this shame and guilt and weightiness to your decisions that God doesn't really intend for us to feel. And so we're going to talk a lot about what it means to shift away from rules and towards goals, building that long-term foundation for your relationship. Sorry, just peeking up my notes, make sure I covered everything. Oh, and that's the other thing. We're going to use Ecclesiastes 3 to talk about all of this. Ecclesiastes 3, the first couple verses, it's a time for reaping, a time for sowing, a time for this, a time for that, over and over again. Solomon is talking about the differences between a time for one thing and a time for another thing, a time for preparation and a time for payoff. And now, middle school, high school, this is a time for preparation, not for payoff. And I think it's going to be really, really great. So make sure you take a peek at that email with those small group questions. This week, all of our small groups are doing the same questions. Next week, we're going to start shifting into middle school and high school separate question sets. But this week, everybody's questions are the same. And if you look at them, it's all about this concept of goals. We're going to talk a little bit about what goals you might have as a student that have nothing to do with relationships. And then we'll move into what it looks like to have a God-honoring, a Christ-following, and a put the other person first kind of relationship. And if there are any relationships we can model that after, whether it's you, their parents, or some other people in their lives that they can model a relationship off of. They're small group leaders. A lot of them have incredibly strong marriages that I've encouraged them, hey, tell your students about what works. Tell your students about what doesn't work. And just be honest, be vulnerable, be that place that can be safe for everyone to have the conversation. Because that's the big thing. Our students needs to be the place where a student feels totally 100% comfortable asking the awkward question. And so we're going to lean into the awkward. I hope you will too. I hope you've begun to have those conversations with your students. I know I've talked to a couple parents and they've told me, hey, it's really awkward, but thanks so much for talking about it. And here's the thing. From the bottom of my heart, out of total humility, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all of the yeses, the nos, the perfect responses to everything. It's all going to be a growing learning experience for your students, for their leaders, for me, for all of us, for you as parents. And I'm just happy that we can do it all together because like this sign says, we're better together. Wow, convenient product placement. You guys, it's awesome. I can't wait. It's this Sunday, 10 a.m. Don't miss it. As usual, if you have any questions, please click reply on that email, text me, whatever you need to do, get in touch with me. I would love to hear your questions here and help you feel at ease about this Sunday. Also, check out those resources. They're linked again in that email as well. So y'all, I hope you have an awesome, awesome weekend, and we'll see you Sunday morning, 10 a.m. at the high school.